what it is, y'all. It's the reflector, here to reflect what you choose to neglect, what y'all choose to neglect, what all of you choose to neglect. Alright, so everything I be talking about, it be from my own experience. Like, whether I had conversations with people or I witnessed conversation, or I just straight up looked on social media and I saw something that piqued my interest. Either way, it's coming from my own like perspective, and I could like talk about it from the most genuine place I can. Anyways, so this ain't no shots towards nobody because I don't really even care. You know, people in my real life know, like, you know, I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to how I think. Obviously, I'm able to be versatile when I need to, and I get pushed towards doing that. But for the most part, though, I'm pretty stuck and stubborn on what I think, and I mean, for the most part, it's been benefiting my life. I'm saying real stuff. All right, so look, title. I just had to say that, you know, for some reasons, but title, you know what I'm saying, offer one for all, you feel me, one world government. God damn it, I forgot my motherfucking title, I ain't gonna lie. Lord Jesus Christ, hold on. Okay, I said, man, I can't even connect to my motherfucking. All right, well, basically, the whole context is, you know, us or individuals idolizing basically their own set of mind, like their own perspective and their own mindset, directing it or using the filtering system or using the spirits or the space or the ideas firsthand of something to do with all one being here, and we all basically drop down from that pyramid scheme or that family tree. Y'all remember in school they used to have family trees that started here and then everything branched off, like it looked like a damn tournament construct thing. You know, it's the same shit. Like, it's okay to use architecture and structure and planning and certain systems of doing things for, there's a time and place for everything. So sometimes, you know, you got to use that to maybe plan, categorize your own, maybe, you know, family tree or anything of that or something like that. You know, that's basically all I'm saying is a time and place for everything. So like the reason why I say that is because that whole concept, it gets us there of knowing that, oh, okay, this person was my great-great-grandpa, blah, 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 and okay, from them, they had the my grandma, and then blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? Go down from there. But when we're talking about us humans, you know, those are humans, like, you know, things that's, beings that already manifested down here via, you know, their own perspective and spirit, and them being naturally selected using their own space, but also space within you're in an environment, and that kind of like, you know, fused together and was able to actually use parents, use a vessel to inhabit for them to, like, you know, learn certain virtues and basically end up conjuring up their own attributes as you did and as everybody else did. So that lets you know that there's just lots of different spaces. There's not one, there's multiple different places that you come from. Everybody don't have the exact same characteristics. Everybody ain't of the same substance per se. You know, at least mentally on a metaphysical level. We all have the same substance, but we're still put together in different ways. And, you know, like I said, you put yourself together. And it ain't even like, you know, the whole concept of there's some overseeing being that actually put their hands in the dirt and started making you out of fucking clay or something like that, or out of the ground. Like, there's no such thing. We haven't seen nothing like that in real life. And we just need to know that our minds have been infiltrated for the past years. You know, when there's a lie being said and that lie is kind of altered by someone else, and then like, you know, it's almost like telephone. Everybody just telling a lie that they don't even know what's actually a point to start from to actually get a more clear, genuine perspective and not no bias, not no none of that, you know? So like more of an outside looking in thing. So it's like for people to kind of say that, you know, at the end of the day, there's just one source, there's one thing that we all come from because we need to all be one. You got to remember, we all are, in a sense, one, but oneness in the sense of multiple becoming the whole. I mean, no, yeah, multiple becoming what we refer to as a whole. All of us multiply it, like that's how we're one. But last time I checked, your goddamn fingers, this part of you, this layer of you, don't have nothing to do with your knee. You can't conflate those two. So obviously everything has a different perspective to start from, but my whole being itself is what we call whole. And this is just a little micro example. You got to take that as the whole world. Like, it's not our faults that, or my fault that you choose to not use your intellectual skills to comprehend the fact that this world is big, but it's not beyond you. And if you want to transmute or change the energy of the way people say that, as, you know, the world is beyond you yourself, is bigger than you, right? And even God is bigger than your problems, right? Think of that more of get beside yourself and don't think of yourself as that important. And so when you go through experiences, you won't have these doubts, these weird feelings, or you blocking yourself, or you don't like the way somebody did something, or it's not making you feel comfortable, you don't feel the vibe. That's how you'll get beyond. Like, that's a good version of saying that, you know, shit is beyond you. Shit is beyond you and yourself, you know, and God is bigger than your problems, which is God transfer that into the fact that, like I told you, we all have a big perspective, right? And we all actually created, like I said, from another field, another perspective, lighter senses, you know, like you got a mind, right? That mind is your subconscious, basically. So you actually had like architecture with making your own self. And I don't mean no building way, no structuring way. Technically you did, but you ain't really know exactly what you were doing as a spirit. You were just going through the motions of, you know, creating, actually vibing, conjuring up, keep accumulating until you actually make forms. And then you inhabit that form as a whole, because it took you to go within all of these perspectives and spaces and parts of you, and you make patterns with all of those parts, and thus we on earth now, you vibe to the slowest. You see your organs, you can move slow. I mean, not slow, everybody, some people move fast, but the point is, you got to think how your mind works. Your subconscious is more flow conscious, just like you're there, you know what I'm saying? You riding the current, you riding the vibes, you riding colors, but all those spectrums are basically a whole group of multiple different perspective, biases, energies, creations, all of this other shit. You know, so you can include that with the physical world that I explained when I was trying to explain, you know, how, you know, bring it to a macro scale, like how I said, this is one part of me, this is one part of me. And obviously they're from two different, they work differently. So that lets you know that if you take that beyond you and put that with everybody else, you're like, oh, well, that means it was multiple different tribes, multiple different people. Because like I said, just because people ain't quite figured out the world and they have more resources than you, and it seems like they got more stature or more time over you, where they know more than you about it, basically, that don't mean you're supposed to give it up to them. And once they can't figure it out, now you look at everything like, oh, well, see, it's justified how I don't know nothing. It's justified how, you know, I let other things take me over because I can't quite fathom what that would be like. Like how people say heaven, we can't fathom what it would look like. It's too bright or something like that. And I'm just like, man, that ain't good though. If you saying something's too bright, that just must mean that's a certain light, that's a certain information, that's a certain body form of something that's just too damn blinding, which is more about you lost when you blind. If anything, God wouldn't have anything to do with that. It would just have something to do with the here and now. Just the fact that, not that you can act, not that you can any of that. Just the fact that you have all your worlds, you can, and if you've done enough separation work or meditation, separating things, not being so in it, separating, then you'll realize, damn, so these different worlds that I'm able to actually pick into in a certain way, in a sense, if you keep practicing, you'll realize, well, goddamn, then that means I'm beyond this shit too. Even when you see the light, you blind yourself, or you feel like you're important because you're actually getting kudo points for following something that some other people might not know about. But at the end of the day, it's still a body. That can't be the end all be all. It can't be one thing. If it was one thing, how the fuck we all think differently? How the fuck we all look different? That's not to say represent, claim, and be against everybody that ain't for you, get down or lay down. That's not to say that, but that's to let you know if you can justify how that's happened, whether you're talking about what happened before you in history or if you're talking about right now, either way, that just lets you know, well, damn, that's just the world we live in. Sex, money, drugs, killing, slaughter, claim, that's it. Like, that's the world we live in. AKA, that's what we've allowed as sheep, or even the people that kind of got some money that make their way. You know what I'm saying? We all basically are the same thing. But even like the Bible says, you live in the world, but you're not of the world. So just because you in a goddamn store where a lot of people are known to steal and shit, don't mean you got anything to do. You specifically have anything to do with that. This is why I mean everything is multiple and different perspectives, because if everybody went to this one store and everybody was a goddamn killer, I mean a steal and a thief, right? That should be like, that means, oh, well, that means everybody can be that. AKA the birth of stereotypes, the birth of biases that is just put on to people, and that's the end all be all. And the only time it's wanting to be what's the word? The only time it's able, or we're able to like kind of go against that, what we've been told, is when things aren't in our favor, things aren't fair. AKA we just polarize into us being spirits by default, but we're looking at the big macro frame of mind as if it's not that. So you keep getting controlled and lead into big Dalmatian, big fall, big events that you can't control. If you can't control something in front of you, that must mean, in a sense, that you're letting things go as a space, as a spirit, beyond this body and beyond your own biases and subconscious, how you already view things, how you feel. And everybody ain't like that. No, everybody loves differently. Everybody got different passions. Everybody got different, uniquenesses to them, all that shit. Everybody got different personal opinions. That's all forms, though. It's all perspective. It's all a space, a place that your spirit, your observation that I'm looking from right now can see from. Just be real. So this ain't me. Like, I ain't got no ego. I don't care. I'm a double Leo, though. I got a lot of Leo energy. You feel me? I know those that probably fucking see me, they probably be like, I'm too much, or I'm too sure of myself. Like, I've already encountered people in my real life. So on the internet, they might just be entertained. They might just like what I look like. Or they just want to find something to hate about because I don't have that many subscribers. But either way, this message is going to get out there because it is what it is. I've already had conversations with people. I've already cut the line where it's like, yeah, you ain't got nothing else to say because, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Uriel, but we're getting reminded even of these times right now. You're getting reminded of what you already did, what everything came to, all these double layer of shit. It's up to you to self-evaluate yourself, separate, and you can separate the world and the polarizations. What do I mean by polarizations? One side is this. How I was explaining like, basically we let like stereotypes go until somebody starts speaking against it, basically, aka the word of the church or something like that, or the government, and then Satan comes to try to like hate on it and steal from it or something like that's we live in the Bible in time, but it was written as fucking books are written right now. Why do you think they always say, even in history class, the Bible was the #1 selling goddamn book? That's just to let you know it was a fucking book of all of us, but a certain perspective due to a group of men coming together and agreeing on what words mean, what this mean, what dark mean, what light mean, what God mean, and making a book about how humanity actually acts. And it's a reverse psychology for you to basically put a capsule on yourself if you're a sheep, if you're on that level, and basically separate people to see who's going to get the actual message, who's going to be biased, by default you're gonna be biased because the way that this world was built was biased. Even if the grand scheme of things is bigger than whoever made this, it seems like it's to help other people, to come up with building blocks, to, you know, shelter other people, all this other shit. But it's still in the concept and the system of shit. Repping consistency. No. It's a system construct of repping, claiming, get down and lay down. If you're not a part of, if you're not in on it, the people that thought of whatever they're gonna do to other people because they're not on their level, aka you can't get to God's level. You gotta do X, Y, Z. Go through these damn commandments, and when you go wrong, you like God show you clear in time, right? Even when you do wrong, if it's against this church, government, Bible, right, the authority, right? Even when you do wrong, it's not always bad. That lets you know this ain't coming from your actual state of being, your spirit or your spirit family, because it's not just you, it's multiple. If you're in a space, you have multiple spirits with you. And that's just basically beings that can give you ideas. And it ain't no goddamn fairy floating around or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I can tie things to fairies at the same time. I'm just trying to get y'all to know, like, separate fake entertainment, Walt Disney, these TV shows, these damn shows we got growing up as if it's just normal now, to normalize that and tie it to your actual state of being because you lack the ability to dream and actually go for those dreams. So you just use the dream of general consistency type of dreams, things that's just like normalized. Like even if you say it, it's like it might be looked at as weird, but it's still like normalized. Like almost like a person saying, oh yeah, like talking to somebody and be like, no, I got superpowers. Like I'm beyond this world. You know, some shit like that. It's like, it's like you'll get kudo points for that because that's what the world will turn into. But it's only because of what's been given to us, the construct, the way of how we think, feel, what we think, feel about, the bias how we think and feel about. AKA, if somebody is doing something with a group of people and it's low-key against what you think, or you're just curious about, either way, you're playing the role of the government, how they constructed our minds to be. Go against each other as humans because we're the majority. The group of people is the minority. They're the minor people. They're not that many people. But that lets you know perspective and, you know, things were actually conjured up by multiple beings, whoever sat out the fucking it's humans though. But human beings that sat out a goddamn table or sat somewhere in a place and came up and started putting time into words, meaning as in the vibe behind the word, how people and circumstances of how people would go through certain things using the perspective of their own bias. Like if you created something, if I created something, it's basically using our own bias. The only way you're not biased is if you actually, you know, I don't want to even say that. I was going to say you actually got messages from angels. Nah, because people have gotten messages from angels and you see where the world at. Motherfuckers just end up using shit against us and themselves. It don't matter. Like, so that lets you know it ain't about something coming in the name. You seeing the light, that's God. You seeing something, you seeing blah, blah, blah. Bitch, you can't even see your own spirit. And that's what was here before all of the forms, here before all the subconscious, the conscious flow, how we was having sex in those realms as spirits. You know what I'm saying? It came before all of that. So that lets you know, oh, if you want to talk about what came first, that has to be the most best correlation with God, which is our ability to be spirits, observers, and the fact that we all share in this space, spirit, but we still our own spirit. So that just means, oh, it's something that ain't got no form. It's something that ain't got no way. And that means multiple. Because if it ain't got no fucking way or no form, not no way, no, it has a way, but it has no form, don't have no sound, no fucking words. Words were invented by man. You can utilize words to actually get to your destination, but it needs to come from a place of nothingness. It needs to come from the fact that you have no bias, you are not expecting nothing, you're not wanting nothing, you're not needing something, you're not trying to get over. It's just purely the space your perspective, nobody can see it like you, and you start going for what you truly, genuinely see from there, let the universe, let everything in front of you show you as confirmation as if you're wrong or not. That don't mean put your whole baskets into what's giving you confirmation or not. That's just to say, at some point, you got to see what's actually happening. Like, are you getting good results related to yourself and your, like, you know, because everything ain't good for everybody and stuff like that. You know, my good ain't your good, but good for yourself in that way, or is it setting you back in ways, even if it feel good to you, but in the grand scheme of things, when it comes back to nothing, you wish you would have like did it differently, basically. You wish you wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. So that's what lets you know what actually, all I'm explaining right now is how it's multiple things. And I'm not talking about, I ain't no multiple God worshiper. I ain't none of that. I ain't no God worshiper in the first place. And God don't want you to fucking worship. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to use that in a better, I don't want to say better because I'm my own self, but it's like, if you want to, best way I can say it is using these words. That's how you have centeredness. Like, you don't say like, oh, these words suck, and then you also don't say, oh, I don't need them. Like, you kind of balance it in the middle. So anyways, ain't no fucking God wants you to goddamn bow down to it or have worship it. Because worship just means you're working for a space over and over again to basically craft something that you could go against something else, basically. By default, you having a mind is you already against something in some way, shape, or form. You already are against something. You got gifts with something else, aka when you mix, aka astrology. I got a sun sign Leo, but if I see a Capricorn sun, it's gonna be more like a not quite understanding and not hitting the mark, not quite none of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what lets you know we all is just different. We all just got different perspective. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing you can do with that is come up with your own craft and your own system of that. But that don't mean just because you can't come up with it, you use the system presented to you, and you're not even doing it for all space, all anything can happen, all possibility. You're doing it for, you know, a bias or a certain amount of people or your type of people, whether that be in the spirit realm or your actual people in front of you that you're trying to represent. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't got shit, nothing to do with shit, okay? God is purely the perspective of, damn, like, if you was a dummy, like, but you can still come out and still say shit like it's nothing, and it actually correlates and confirms with life. Like I'm the type of person to say your family ain't even really yours. And if you ask me how, I'ma just be like, well, you know, when you go on travels for lots of time, especially if it's not in the same quite form as what you started from, you might end up getting lost. You might end up taking the wrong turn, where you end up being in a group that probably suits, connects, makes you feel secure with your goddamn subconscious that you conjured up, your views, how you feel, how your motive, all this shit, all your communication style. So what if I just said, oh, that's not your real family. That's just what the body ended up wanting to be around. Like, your desires wanted to be around. So that lets you know, oh, your desires are actually bodies. Your desires, oh, they actually have like pump to them. They actually got a beat to them. They actually got a vibe to them. They're alive. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know that, damn, so you ain't even that tied to your family. So, AKA, separate. Don't be all about how the world taught you to be, so represent, I got my flag, this is my village, or all the way down to this is my tribe. There ain't no wrong with tribe, but being equal though, because like, you know what I'm saying? If that means you're subjecting it to your tribe. Oh, like, this is the end all be all. Whole time, you separate. See, some families are like spiritual families, because that's what I'm getting to. Some families that manifest to here and they actually family, they are a spiritual family. But if they are like that, they most likely are either satisfied even if they don't got a lot of money, either way it go, or they just got a lot of fucking money and they not satisfied because all of them in that space still ain't figured out something. But they still got the upper hand in this world. Anyways, yeah. Going back to the family, like, that ain't your fucking family. That's just what you manifested here with. And that's a representation of what, remember, we on earth. care, connectiveness, centeredness, heart, coming from the heart, being new, always going through experiences and know that it's just a new day type shit. So a new vibe. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know, oh, you just manifested using the desires, the likes, the forms that got a beat to it. Even if you're not in those forms no more, actually you can still be, but you're not actually just in those. You actually have a awake body now that those forms come through to give you amp to move. So you might kind of forget the subconscious that you come from because this shit right in front of you. And we've kind of been conditioned to just look at shit right in front of you. But like I said, the motherfucking the goddamn how you feel from those who are around you and shit, and those who actually around you and stuff, that just come from a desire of how you utilize your desires, starting from your perspective, your space, and then what you actually by default make a certain frame of mind of, and you start basically spinning. You start creating different worlds, mixing other worlds with this world, and you start doing that in routines, and you start forming a body. Last time I checked, when you got a fucking light and shit, you twirl it around, it start looking like a goddamn circle, even though it's clearly one light. But guess what? You mixing this one light, right, with this space. This is all space. It's all space. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know the more you do that, the more it actually manifests into something. Anyway, yeah. So those around you is just representing the space you in, the planet, the virtue, care, earth, and they're representing an earth in other ways. It's spelled by the heart. It's spelled heart. And they just represent what you got tied to, what you felt comfortable with, what you felt most vulnerable with. Remember, this is why we have the Bible though, because this is supposed to be a heaven, because you actually experience it in time. You can feel everything, you know what I'm saying, move slow. It's not just here and there as you do with your mental. That's what, like when you daydream, that's what we once were in actual form. So anyway, and it's not just daydream, it's other words, but that's the best word I can use. Your ass was at one point in time, you know, well, fuck that shit. God damn it. Ooh. Just know, like I said, heaven can turn into hell. Hate can turn into love. Love can turn into hate. That lets you know that these words is just categorized, but they're actually all in one, aka one side, this side. Right side, light, left side, dark. You're righteous, you're left, you went left field type shit. You see? It's all just separation, but they all actually come together at some point when you get there. But anyway, to end this shit, yeah, heaven turned into a hell. So yeah, you actually, at one point, this was good. You felt comfortable. You felt good. Now, some people, depending on their perspective, they must have came from a certain space. And I'm not no one to judge anything, but it's just to let you know, if they came up in terrible conditions where they had some people, they get starved. It's not they get starved, but they don't have enough money, but they still feel at least the care energy. You know, they feel like they're important, at least. Some people though, so then they probably be the main ones to get rich out of the fucking family and stuff like that, because they went through hard times and then they can testify when they actually made it somewhere. Some people though, they actually start off in a not caring, not giving a fuck, right in your face. They don't get no attention. They get fucked over. So like, you know, that just lets you know that you just don't resonate with the heart chakra. You don't resonate with this world like that. And even if you did at one point, that lets you know, oh, because that hell people are in, aka a person dating a female, right? She keep getting beat up. She normalizes that. AKA a hell that she got to keep walking on eggshells. She turned it into a heaven. So now this is the best thing that could ever happen. She can't see nothing past it. It's a bright light. Oh my goodness, it's all fulfillment, all her desires. Because, you know what I'm saying? So that's how you know. I just had to bring that example. So, yeah, people that raised in those type of conditions and shit, they be more about like, motherfucking, yeah, like I said, they just didn't resonate with this heart chakra. They didn't resonate with their own, and they definitely didn't resonate with what was outside of them. And even if they once did, that lets you know as a spirit how long in their travels that they've been stuck in that type of fucked up hell. that in their mind justified it as a goddamn heaven. AKA, everybody does this shit, bro. You can be annoyed talking to somebody, but it's somebody you close to. So now, at one point it was cool, but it didn't turn into a hell though. It was a heaven, or it's hell because you got to deal with this person, but you done made that a heaven. Like, oh, it's okay because you got all these justifications. So we all do this shit. It's not nothing that deep. You can make it deep. You can go into the depths, but start by knowing just what simply on the surface level what's presented to you. Not presented all the way like where it don't got no light, but more of what's presented to you with your senses, what you can see, what's of value, what values, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So, and that starts from how you first initiate yourself and your own identification, your own identity to first see in the first place. So, yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, the situations play out, and that's another way of how you know that we are multiple, and it's not just one God and stuff. Because then that's when people get into the question of, okay, if we all come from one God, well then why are we not in favor? And that's like an infinite digress of one certain amount of people being their hell, they turn it into a heaven. So AKA they start justifying like how this is okay and God still got us in their favor, you know. And then other people are more like, you know, even if they're better off than other people that's talking like that, they'll still be like, well, there ain't no God, it ain't fucking helping me, and I don't see it. Or some atheists, basically. Like, that's all that shit will basically come to if we keep being on that line of reasoning, that train of thought, the way we thinking like that, using our space to first visualize and identify in those ways, which is, well, I mean, hey, how did I get here? I have no comprehension of knowing that. So, hey, let me just give it up to what's presented to me and what's my liking, my best benefit, even if it don't seem like in a bad way, and you cling to that, and now you start repping that. You start repping Christianity, repping fake spirituality, repping you still religious, or repping atheism, or repping a theist. You're just being a theist. You got your type of belief in what thee is, what came in thee, what started it, what standeth above all type shit. So you still are just, you know, using concepts that was presented to you and then using it against other people. And it's only for your fulfillment. And then eventually you'll end up probably changing how you think, because thoughts and shit end up dying out or not be as bright. So you end up just, AKA half of the Christians now they want to say, well, I'm not saying it's this, and that like the Bible, but I'm saying it's in my way, basically, their own thoughts. And they can't even conflate it and relate it to nobody else besides those who actually agree with that type of contract, that type of way how to be. Then they get, so that lets you know that's too much you're not in on it. This is shit that's after the fact written for you type shit. Like, and even the start, if you get to the point to start from, that's still not your own starting point. Unless you're doing it as I'm doing it, or it's Soul Group, shout out to them, or Uriel is teaching in the subconscious and the conscious. God damn it, you actually separate as a spirit, and you put yourself in the shoes of those who could have even did that concept of coming together, knowing that they can rule over other people if they keep just controlling things from behind the scenes. They keep using their magic hand. They keep putting things in front of us, even if it look like people like, all the way down to people like us, and they start observing us and start to basically construct using that. And that's it. But that's some fucked up shit. So when you get there, that's using your true nature, your godly nature. I'm not saying you a god, but your nature of, damn, you can be swift and go through instances and train of thoughts and reasoning, even if you're not physically there, because that lets you know we wasn't here physically. Now we can think, no, you already was thinking, feeling, subconsciously doing shit. Then we made the manifestation of the goddamn physical forms and organs. The organs and then the form. Created the organs first, and then you created your actual body. But anyways, your organs float within you. Just like your spirit and your soul flows within you. Like Jesus is in us, right? So yeah, your fucking soul gives you life again. It gives you soul. It gives you want to do something. It gives you visions of characteristics of how you want to get attention or view things and put attention on other people or other the ideas or anything you're into. All right, y'all. That's it, man. I'm about to get back to what I'm doing, man. Shit. God damn it. Motherfucking doing my clients' duties and stuff. Goddamn, going from house to house and sitting people's dogs and pets. Soon it's gonna be my own shit. I'm gonna have my own building, and I'm gonna be able to do that shit. Low prices and all that shit, cause I can provide for all that's bigger than me. And I know pets is bigger, and it ain't even gonna be nothing to do with no goddamn cage. Like I'm gonna have tests and all that, but it's gonna be, I'm gonna use this structure of how shit is done, but I'm gonna use it in my own way, which is like, well, I don't want to put it all out there, but I still got to put it out there. I got to put it on the forefront, which is basically coming up with a system that, yeah, you might have to fill out things, you might have to, or go through actual training. I got to see how you do it, because, you know, I'm genuinely, everybody can do what I'm going to be doing, but, you know, I got to be like, get them on the right frame of mind. I got to construct their mind how it should be viewed, how to view dogs and shit, and how to take care of them, and how not to be scared, and how to prevent things. Or even if things come to happen and shit get fucked up, you know how to do shit in the best way possible, and that fucking dog ain't gonna do that shit no more. Whether it be done to you or the dogs do it against each other. So I ain't finna have no shelter like shit. Even though there's a benefit to shelter. I'm not hating, I'm just saying. I'm coming from me though. Like, I don't fuck with that shit. I'm gonna do it my way, like I said. But anyways, and then soon after that, I'm gonna goddamn make them all over the world. Soon after that, join with goddamn all the shelters of the world, and goddamn make it a different system where goddamn it's gonna be like a field trip. These niggas just gonna alternate. They gonna go from shelter to what I'm doing around the world and blah, 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 blah. And then so on and so forth, bitch. All right. But yeah, man, don't get off that oneness shit. Ain't no one all for one for all. It ain't no everything comes down to one being. Ain't no creation came from one fucking thing. No. Cause no. And if it was the case, why the fuck certain people are lower than other people? Like I said, you got perspective in how people vibe for themselves, aka you got some people that has the same objects as other people, but they don't abuse it like other people. AKA, I fucking smoke weed, but you got people that can't help but smoke weed. Or, okay, let's just talk about drugs. I don't consider weed a drug. Let's talk about a fucking person that do cocaine. They at the top of their business and shit because they know how to control it, using their spirit. They got discipline. You're supposed to discipline yourself. That's a big thing. Spirits lack discipline. Easier said than done, but you got to try for God. Discipline is the biggest thing that spirits lack. That's why this whole construct of this right here lets us know how far we've fallen. We lack discipline, but discipline is one fucking virtue. But discipline can have you structured right where all your creativeness and all your swiftness, your abilities end up actually coming into reality and shit like that. And the more we actually do that all together, bitch, our reality done changed. It already done changed, but it'll change more in all of our favors. Anyway, go back to the oneness shit. That ain't it. All right, and the oneness ain't it. All right. Oh shit! Shout out to my nigga JBX1, the real shit. Shout out to him, man. I'm gonna be out there for real. God damn it, I really plan to be out there with my girl and shit. But either way, we gonna make some shit shake. Cause we both in the TX. Anyways, so yeah, man, like, and yeah, like I said, I made this video because I've been actually viewing people, like, and I've been talking to people, having conversations, these damn Christians, these theists. I don't even call them Christian no more. I would say fake spiritual person or a fake theist or a flunked out theist. You know what I'm saying? And now I see why Uriel be on this shit, you know, but I ain't heavy on it. But I just got to say, though, just due to my own perspective. And plus, I hit some other points. But just know, it's just relax. It ain't all about how you think. It ain't about the 2 cents you can put on top of what's already been presented to you. None of that. It's about you separating, putting your space there in the first fucking place. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. That's it. That's all, man. Ain't no bias. Ain't no none of that, bro. I'm trying to make sure I covered everything. But yeah, shout out to JBX Wonder for real. Go check his music out. Check his page out. Dude got too many gems. Every time I see his shit, I get sparked a whole plethora of things and shit like that. But that's what it's about. That's teamwork in the flesh, in the mind, whatever. Like, that's teamwork. Fuck. But anyways, yeah, man. It's the Reflector. Here to reflect what y'all niggas choose to neglect. I said neglect. It's the Reflector. Here to reflect which y'all choose to neglect. I'm out this bitch, man. Shout out to my readings too, by the way. Yeah, I be forgetting to say.